Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hello and welcome as we start. Thank you kindly, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar, despite what they all say about you. Marty doesn't care what you say about him. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours and your little slice of South Louisiana heaven since the last opportunity we had to spend some time with you and yours. We start today's show, as we typically do, with Louisiana news. And with every passing day, I am becoming more and more convinced that we may never know the full extent of the damage done to the American psyche as a result of the COVID-19 lockdowns. Am I the only one that finds himself or herself saying, people have lost their freaking minds these days? It is alarming in that the most innocent of things can happen and set people off, leading to deadly or near deadly consequences over something that, in the grand scheme of things, as my late father used to say, doesn't amount to a hill of beans. For example, 59-year-old Scott Gray from Prairieville, a gentleman that God is blessed to live 59 years, lost a leg in a motorcycle accident years ago, and is now battling stage 4 melanoma, cancer. This week, on his way to help a friend repair his air conditioner, had a minor traffic accident. 2 trucks passing one another, their mirrors clip, and one is broken. So Mr. Gray pulls over to exchange driver information with this individual, who immediately goes berserk, beat this 59-year-old man suffering from stage 4 cancer, missing a leg, beat this man unmercifully, left him on side of the road to die. Doctors have now had to postpone the chemotherapy because of the surgeries that he's going to need to repair his body from the damage inflicted. As far as they know so far, Mr. Gray has 3 facial fractures. The tear duct in one of his eyes completely detached from the eye. Bruises everywhere. Over something that his insurance would have paid to replace. The scary thing about all of this is nowadays you have no outward clue as far as who is or is not a walking time bomb. We've had instances recently where people have gone ballistic over something that not so very long ago they wouldn't give a passing thought to. And yet, here we find ourselves. Speaking of, just yesterday, a mother with 6 children right next door in the Lone Star State of Texas, we find out she has been keeping her juvenile children like slaves. Her 14-year-old twin boys, handcuffed, forced to live in a laundry room and drink their own urine. These 2 managed to escape from the home, and as you might imagine, law enforcement got wind, Amber Alert was issued, they start looking for them. So of course, where does she flee with the family but to Baton Rouge? What is troubling in addition to the case in and of itself, 2 things. One, this is not her first rodeo. We find out now she was a decade ago convicted of child desertion here in Louisiana, allowed to plea bargain, and part of her sentence, get this, was to attend parenting classes. Well, I guess that was a waste of time, huh? How in God's name do you treat children this way? The children didn't ask to come here. You brought them here. And now you would have the unmitigated gall to treat them in this fashion? Secondly, law enforcement says the 2 children that managed to escape, and you can see the pictures where, bless their hearts, the skin has been rubbed completely off the wrist from them trying to escape the handcuffs. But they walked around in a neighborhood for almost half an hour asking people for help before a good Samaritan finally took them in, listened to the story, and called law enforcement. I got to throw this in there. The kids are black. The mother, black. The boyfriend with them, black. Want to take a guess who let them in and helped them out and called the police? They look like Marty. So much for the racist narrative. But these kids walked around knocking on doors for half an hour before anyone saw fit to do the right thing. I say all this, my friends, my fellow Louisianians and Americans, to say that being comfortable should no longer be an option for us. Many of us, Clarence, you got to understand, I got so much on my plate. I got kids, we got layoffs at the job and all this, that, and the other. I get all that. But simply being observant, what those in the military and law enforcement call situational awareness. Simply being aware of what's around you. Now, I've got to think, a woman that would do something like this to her own children, there were some signs ahead of time. This kind of stuff does not happen in a vacuum. If anybody had been paying any attention whatsoever ahead of time, we could have short-circuited this whole affair. But everybody these days, so busy, everybody's walking around. You ever notice nobody looks up anymore? Everybody does this. Having a meal, family of 4, all 4 of them sitting there in the phone, not talking to one another, walk around outside. I've told you this. I want to say it's in France. I know it's in Europe for certainly. They have now had to resort to putting a red light in the sidewalk facing up, because so many people were walking down the street looking at their phone and didn't realize, oh crap, I'm stepping into traffic and get run over. So many of us don't pay attention to anything other than our phone, that now they are putting red lights face up in the sidewalk. You know, if you're not very careful, and history will bear me out with this, technology can be the savior of mankind and at the same time lead to our ruination. Technology is a wonderful thing, but not in the wrong hands. Just an observation. Just an observation. First break of today's show. When we come back, not a particularly good week for a couple of high-profile folks in our state. We'll talk about that when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The 2022 Mazda CX-5 with iActive all-wheel drive and available turbo engine. It truly ignites the senses.
Save on your new CX-5 right now during the season of discovery at Team Mazda.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. As we continue in Louisiana news, a couple of high-profile individuals in our state having a little bit of a rough go of it this week. You, outside of the New Orleans area, know her as the former head of the state Democrat Party. I ever so slowly am getting myself out of saying the Democratic Party. It's not the Democratic Party. It's the Democrat Party. Just like we are not a democracy, we are a representative republic. And you hear people say all the time, oh, that's a threat to democracy. No, you're starting an argument from a flawed premise. Bad place to start, but I digress. Karen Carter Peterson this week officially being disbarred by the state Supreme Court after admitting to using campaign funds for her gambling habit. You know, when Governor Edwin Edwards first proposed legalized gambling in our state, gaming, I was against it. And over time, I have softened that stance somewhat. You got to understand, I grew up in a household where my late father, God bless him, was a hell of a poker player. When he would get paid on Fridays, he'd go and cash his check. He'd come home and he'd drop every nickel of it in my mother's hands. And she would break off $10, give it back to him. That was for poker night with the boys. Never once did my father ever come home that I saw and did not give her $10 more than she gave him for poker night, and the rest was for him. But my father, God bless him, figured out, don't let your children do things that can lead to an addiction. I don't mind telling y'all, y'all gonna laugh. I'm getting old. I don't care. Laugh if you want. I didn't learn to play dominoes until I went to college. I still, to this day, have no idea how to play anybody's game of cards. Bid whisk, tunk, spades, pity pat. I can't play none of that. And at this stage in life, I have no interest in learning them. It's just something I never did, something I'll never do. But I also had to come to grips with the fact that the person that earned that money that they take to the aforementioned casino, English teachers, forgive me, in 3, 2, 1, them grown folks, that's their money. I don't want anybody telling me what I can do with my money. So where could I get off telling somebody else what they can do with their money? Yeah, but Clarence, you got to understand, people out there spending their rent. I get all that, but that's a personal decision. If ever you want to get the real scoop, just go watch. I learned, we did a TV show from a couple of casinos, as a matter of fact. And a lot of times, I just sit there and watch. And I very quickly figured out the people that can least afford to be here, that's the majority of folks that are here. That was it for me. And the fact of the matter is, when all is said and done, it's a business. The job of any business is to separate you from your money. It's not that, it's not that hard a proposition to figure out. Now, unfortunately for Karen Carter Peterson, she fell victim to what so many other people have fallen victim to and got caught. $147,000 diverted from campaign funds to feed a gambling addiction. She now, as a result of this, faces up to 20 years in prison and a possible fine of $250,000. Will that be the case? I doubt it sincerely. Restitution, full restitution has been made. All of the money that was misappropriated has been repaid. Barring any unforeseen or otherwise mitigating circumstances, I don't see this happening. I really don't. And listen, y'all, I get it. All things are political. I understand there are probably some diehards that are just waiting to see her go to prison. I'm not one of those. I understand she has been dealing with something that many people cannot wrap their minds around. I get that. But at the end of the day, what was the old, was that a Jackson 5 song, Marty? When you dance to the music, you got to pay the piper? I think the J5 did it like he would know, right? Like he would know. But sometimes when you dance to the music, you got to pay the piper. Elsewhere, here in Baton Rouge, speaking of, boy, this didn't last long, did it? You see where Mayor Sharon Weston Broome now has decided, see what happened was, we don't really need to do this storm water fee after all. This entire episode, y'all, has been ugly, ugly, ugly. At a time when we desperately need to address this situation, and at a time where we desperately need to restore faith in city and state government, it was apparent right up front, y'all, that Help me out again. Marty, I can't rely on you. I'm going to have to get me another crack research department. Who was it? It was Shakespeare, was it not? Something's rotten in Denmark. Wasn't that Shakespeare? He's like, don't look at me, Bugs. I'm pretty sure it was Shakespeare. Don't ask me which play, which one. I'm pretty sure it was Shakespeare that penned that famous line, there's something rotten in Denmark. When it was revealed, allegedly, that the federal government was asking members of the Metro Council, if you're in negotiations to fix the stormwater problem in East Baton Rouge, we need you to sign a non-disclosure agreement saying, we're not going to talk about what we talked about in trying to fix this problem. You've heard me say before, one of the things that is so mystifying to me about the human species at this point in our evolution is how we can now instantly access literally all the knowledge amassed since the beginning of time, and it's in our pocket. And yet, we are dumber than we have ever been in our existence. Kind of goes back to something I said earlier about technology is a wonderful thing in the right hands. How anybody thought this was going to fly is beyond me. Now, the mayor, for her part, says, well, I was given some misinformation. Okay? Listen, I've never held public office. I've never been a mayor. I did sleep at a Holiday Inn Express in the last year, but I've never walked in those shoes. Now, that being said, if I were the mayor, council person, mayor pro tem, DPW employee, whomever, and I found out, you want the people that are negotiating for something that's going to be a tax on property owners, but you want us to sign a piece of paper saying we won't tell anybody anything about what we discussed regarding the additional dollars we're going to reach in your pocket and take out. Alarms would have gone off like nobody's business. What do you mean we can't talk about this? The people are going to have to pay this. How can I go back to my constituents and justify hiding this from them? And yet, in government circles, one of the biggest buzzwords to come out in recent memory, transparency. Well, really now, do tell, as my late mother would say. Do tell. Transparency. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Bottom of the hour break. When we come back, the man has spoken. The economy, strong as hell. End of quote. Wink, wink. When we come back on today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Marty, fill in the blank for me. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Typically, that serves you well if two things. One, you have the sense to understand what they're actually doing. And two, you govern yourself accordingly. In September of this year, the Heritage Foundation did a study on inflation, and we talked about this, how Americans' earnings were being sucked literally from beneath their feet by inflation. The Heritage Foundation told us at that time the average American household has lost $4,200 worth of wages because of inflation. They then did a follow-up survey shortly thereafter. This week, they announced the results. In September, what was $4,200 a year in lost earnings is now $6,000. The folks at the Heritage Foundation said, we've never seen anything like this. Quote, people are just absolutely being crushed It's not the price of caviar and yachts. It's things like staples, eggs, milk, flour, soup. These are things that are up 20 to 30% over a year ago. All of these additional costs are now creeping into the rest of the economy, essentially. Then they close with, we really don't see much good news anywhere anymore. And yet, this week, when asked about the state of the economy, the leader of the free world didn't say, well, we're working on it. President Joe Biden didn't say, we're coming up with a new plan and we're going to bring together a bipartisan coalition to see what can be done to help alleviate this crushing burden on the American public. Instead, with a look of, I can't believe you don't believe what I'm saying, he announced, and I quote, the economy is strong as hell. Let me ask you something. When you get to the end of the checkout line at the grocery store and you pull out your wallet, pocketbook, purse, clutch, whatever you have, you feel strong as hell when you look at what you have left? When you pull up to the gas pump and you put in your car the usual amount that you put in, and you notice how little the needle now moves, do you feel like the economy is strong as hell? When you can find baby formula a year after the fact, if you're a new mom, and what it costs you, how do you feel? And yet, they are doubling down on, well, wait, are you going to believe me or your lying wallet? Are you going to believe what I tell you, or are you going to believe what your bank account says? I don't know about you, but I know which one I believe. But you know, the mere fact that they would say this sort of stuff speaks more about you than it does about them. Anybody can tell anybody else anything on any given day. In a nation of 340 million plus people, you can find just about anywhere somebody to tell you anything. But it doesn't make it true. The saying was popularized in World War II. The big lie. If you tell it loud enough and long enough, eventually they'll believe it. I have a very, 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 very hard time believing that my fellow Americans agree with Joe Biden when he says the economy is strong as hell. I have a very hard time believing that Americans are buying this crap. See, unlike the ladies from The View, unlike Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, unlike the Nancy Pelosi's of the world, the rest of us have to work for a living. The rest of us, many of us, are on fixed incomes. The rest of us know what it's like to sacrifice. The rest of us know what it's like to have to sit down and make the hard choices. But when you have people that you elected that are addicted to opium, not O-P-I-U-M, OPM, other people's money. When you have folks that are addicted to spending other people's money, this is what you end up with. Just this morning, getting ready to walk out of the house, and I'm scanning through news sources and the like, and I run across a story in San Francisco. Perfect case in point. In the town square, where they hold concerts, charity events, so on and so forth, people have been complaining for years. There's no public bathroom down here. So after years and years and years of people complaining, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. We're going to build a bathroom. One toilet, one commode. The cost, $1.7 million. Oh, and it won't be ready until 2025. I could walk to California, build you one, and walk back home with, I don't know, still have a million of it left in my pocket. How many times are you going to have someone tell you? In many cases, government is not the answer. Government is the problem. See, y'all slept through American history and civics. So many of y'all have no clue that this country was founded on the very principle that you just stay the hell out of my way. I'm going to bust my hump. I'm going to work as hard as I need to take care of me and mine. You just stay out of my life. Keep your grubby little fingers out of my pocket. I'll take care of the rest. But we have allowed people to infiltrate, yeah, I said it, infiltrate the system and install a mindset of entitlement, a mindset of, well, it should be the government's responsibility. Y'all do understand, do you not? At one time in this country's history, there was no public education. You educated your children yourself. There was no public education. And I've got to wonder what it would be like to have a conversation with some of the founding fathers and ask what they think of what we've become since this nation started. Listen, y'all, there's something to be said about change for the sake of change. There is something to be said at the same time, however, how certain things have served us exceedingly well in this country over all these years. And now all of a sudden, there's this rush, this push to change everything. Now again, A species is supposed to evolve. A species is supposed to get better as time marches on. Ask your fellow Americans today, is our country going in this direction or that direction? I think you already know the answer. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. I want to give you guys and girls a heads up about something that, with the state of our economy being what it is, on social unrest and upheaval and many people making decisions about where they live in this country, there's a lot of transformation going on in this country. As an American and as a Louisianian, I have had bred into me a love of people. That's who we are. It's what we do as Louisianians. But in today's climate, you better be aware of who's moving into your state. Because what these folks do is they move to a place like California, the granola state. Take out the fruits and the flakes, nothing left but the nuts. The granola state. Y'all will get that later, don't worry about it. They move from all these other places that they have totally ruined. And you would think conventional wisdom would say they see what the policies they've endorsed has led to. So certainly they wouldn't move anywhere else and try the same stupid stuff there. Never underestimate the ignorance of a liberal. Here's what I mean. It was announced this week that parents in Virginia may well in the near future, if they refuse to affirm their child's sexual or gender identity, they could face charges. In other words, if your biological male child comes home and announces that I'm a girl, and you go to hell you are, they will call Child Protective Services on you. Virginia State Delegate Elizabeth Guzman, want to guess what party she belongs to? Is planning to introduce legislation that if the child reports it, it will go to Child Protective Services before it is referred to law enforcement for a separate investigation. Oh, and it gets better. It gets better. The state delegate, Guzman, kind of let it slip that, you know, if we have to call Child Protective Services and get law enforcement involved, that might affect your employment. A roundabout, backhanded way of threatening your job. I could hear my late father right now. Hell, y'all may as well come and arrest me now. Because if my boy comes home talking about, guess what, Sarge? I'm a girl. Y'all just come on, pick me up right now. Let's save everybody a lot of time. Let's go ahead and be done with this. I hear my friends, you know, you start getting old, your friends tell you stuff you never knew. Have friends tell me, my dad threatened to whip me one time. I told him I'll call the cops. One of my friends said his father grabbed the phone, said it right there. So you need me to dial a number for you? That's how that works. Oh, but it gets even better. Believe it or not, it gets even better. Delegate Guzman, quote, she implied that not affirming your child's gender identity might stop you from getting into heaven. You're not going to believe this one. But then again, if you've been watching liberals, progressives, you'll believe it. Quote, you know, we all have a commitment to God. And for believers out there, we know that there's life after life. And there's going to be a conversation between that person and God. And that's what we're after, to go by what the Bible says. Not bad enough that apparently Guzman knows better than Aristotle, Euripides, Galileo, Einstein, your biology teacher, God, male and female, created them, he. If you want to talk about the Bible, Guzman, as horrific as this is, we're going to stick Child Protective Services and the police on you if you don't tell your boy that thinks he's a girl, well, that's okay, little Johnny, we're proud of you. If that weren't bad enough, now this woman ties it all in to the Bible. If you don't think we got some sick folks walking around in this country, you are sorely mistaken. It's one thing for you to push this kind of crap on unsuspecting children, but to turn around and tie it in to the Bible? God help my country. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. But this day, and it's getting harder and harder to say it, but I firmly still believe it. You know what? You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you do realize by now that he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, best news you gonna get all day. There ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you soon. God bless.